All right, so a lot of us, we struggle with perfectionism. We want everything exactly right. We want everything to be done perfectly. And when it's not, we get really frustrated or irritated or discouraged because whatever we're doing doesn't live up to our expectations of how things ought to be. This can be true at work. It can be true in our relationships. It can even be true when we're trying to have fun, like our hobbies. Just imagine playing golf or fishing or whatever it is that you love to do. When things don't work out exactly the way you think they should, then you get frustrated, irritated, and let go of all your inner peace and happiness. So, in this video, we're going to talk about why perfectionism can sometimes rob you of what you really want in life, which is happiness, fulfillment, engagement, connection, all the things that you really want. And so, perfectionism can sometimes keep you trapped in this like dissatisfaction loop, that things just aren't living up to the way you want them to. So, we want to talk about breaking free of that, finding true peace, happiness, and fulfillment in life. Hey guys, welcome back to my video. My name is Tom, and this video is about how your need for everything to be exactly right can sometimes rob you of inner peace, happiness, fulfillment, joy, connection, all the things that you say that you want in life. When we get tied to a specific way that everything has to be and everything has to live up to that idealistic standard, well, then what happens when it doesn't? Because the reality is nothing's ever going to be perfect. Nothing's ever going to live up to all of our idealistic expectations. If we can't let that go, if we can't accept the way things are sometimes in life, then we're guaranteed to be frustrated, irritated, disappointed, angry, hurt, envious, jealous. All of those awful things are guaranteed to be a part of our life if we can't learn to accept imperfection. Maybe when things are imperfect, it's exactly the way it's supposed to be. I know. Okay, the first thing that we want to realize is that our perfectionistic, idealistic standards are often the enemy of finding real contentment in life. Now, I want to be the first to say that it's great to have standards that you're striving for. It's awesome that you want to make things better in life and that you see how things could be better. The problem is when our perfectionistic, idealistic standards have to be met before we can ever really accept or be content with anything in our lives. So, perfectionism creates a mindset where nothing is ever really enough. Nothing can ever really live up to how good we think it could be. So, we're constantly focused then on what's wrong. If you have to have 100% in order to be okay, then anything less than that is frustrating and problematic and can literally ruin your day and steal your joy. And so you're constantly focused now on how things are not exactly right. And let's just face it, that's really hard to be around. That's really hard to sustain a relationship with somebody who's always focused on what's wrong in life. And, the irony is the very thing that you want to make everything better is actually the opposite is happening. Everything feels much worse and everything feels much more problematic. So whether it's your messy house or unfinished projects or maybe personal flaws, the little bit of flab hanging around your belly, or the way your spouse is interacting with you or how your kids are behaving, you're essentially telling yourself that life as it is a problem. Life as it is isn't good enough. It's not measuring up. And so this creates an ongoing sense of dissatisfaction. And I'm just saying that's going to bring your mood down, your attitude down, your countenance down. And it's really hard to engage with that for very long. So the irony is that trying to make everything perfect, you actually push away the very things that you want in life: peace, happiness, connection, joy. All of those things that would make life amazing are kind of getting sidelined. So, what if instead you allowed yourself to focus on what's good? What if you allowed yourself to focus on what's great? Recognize that perfection really doesn't exist outside the Garden of Eden. We don't live in the Garden of Eden. And the more you chase it, the more frustrated and stuck you're probably going to feel. Okay, the second point we want to make is that wanting to fix everything is really kind of a trap. Now, first of all, let me say I appreciate the people out there that are fixers, that see problems and fix it. I'm glad that you do that because I can come up with a lot of problems myself. So while I appreciate it on the one hand, I just want you to use a little caution, like slow down just a little bit, because many perfectionists believe that if they could just improve or fix something just a little bit more, that then they would be content and then they would be happy. But what I often find is that people who like to fix things just keep finding more broken things to fix. It's like you've trained your eyes to look for what's not right and to look for what's broken. And when you're looking for what's not right or what could be improved or what's broken, you're definitely going to find it. In fact, that might be all you find. And whenever things get better, whatever sense of relief you get for a moment simply fades into another broken thing that you see. And so, whether it's your weight, or your job, or your marriage, or your family, or the way your teeth look, or whatever, always looking for what's wrong is going to be exhausting to you and to everybody else. It's a losing game. So when you're always focused on fixing what's wrong, you're neglecting to, you don't even see this, but you're neglecting to see all the things that are right. So you're focused on the 10% that needs to be improved. What about the 90% that's amazing? See, there's not much gratitude. It's hard to be thankful and grateful for the 90% that's awesome when all you can see is the frustration you feel over the 10% that needs to be improved. So always finding something that needs to be improved. Well, you're seeing the world as constantly broken and looking at that brokenness and focusing your attention on that brokenness. So peace comes in your life when we learn to be a little bit more content, when we relax this need to fix everything and instead learn to accept more things in life. Some things in life need to be fixed, and knowing the difference is in one way what maturity is. Knowing that this is something I can do something about and need to do something about, or is this situation something that I need to learn to accept? Life is not perfect and we are not perfect, and we're never going to make it perfect. And this always striving to make it perfect is just not perfect. Okay, the third point that we want to make is that we have to a little bit let go of control. It's really hard because people that fix things, they want to control the situation. They have a sense that I can make this better. I should make this better. I need to make this better. And again, there's times when that's true. There's times when that's 100% right. It's just, you got to know when to let that go sometimes. Like it might be great at work, but then you bring it home and you try to implement that on your kid. You try to fix them or make them right. Fixing people is not the same thing as loving people. And sometimes we get those things confused. We're like, you know what? God loves you. Now let me fix you. And really, we should do the opposite. Like, let me love you, and I'll just trust that God over time is going to fix you. But fixers, they want to control the situation. And sometimes they have too much desire to control the situation. They feel so responsible to make it better. And that's awesome that you care so much. It's just, what damage is this doing to you? And maybe it might be doing some damage in the background to your relationship. So one of the hardest and most rewarding lessons we can learn is that you are not in control. You're just not in control of everything. Accepting that is accepting reality. Believing that you're in control of everything is not in line with reality. So many things are just outside of our control, and we have to learn to accept those things. So instead of trying to force things into the way I think they should be all the time and make them fit my perfect mold of my idealistic standards, what if I could accept more things in life and accept people in life? When we stop fighting this reality, then we're able to then start appreciating this reality. So even with its flaws. And what happens is immediately we're going to feel a lot more peace in our life. I mean, we're going to feel a lot more acceptance in our life when we can realize that not everything is under our control and not everything can be fixed. And catching that and realizing that could make the difference between you being able to endure and persevere what's going on in your life and you feeling like a failure and wanting to quit. So you don't have to stop doing your best. Do your best. It's just realizing that we have to sometimes detach ourselves from the idealistic perfection standards that we'll never really live up to and the people around us can never live up to. It doesn't have to be flawless in order to be good or to be enjoyed or to be appreciated. Okay, so what are we saying in this video? What we're saying is that perfectionism is something that we need to let go of. It's good to want to make things better. It's just we have to learn to be okay even when things don't turn out exactly the way we want them to. We bought a ticket for Hawaii, but we ended up in California. Can we learn to enjoy the destination as it is? Or are we going to be so focused on how it's not exactly what we imagine that we can't ever really accept or open up to the possibilities in front of us? Imagine what your life would look like if you could right now stop obsessing over every little detail, every little careless word that somebody said, and learn to be more content with what's right in front of you. Why, you might say you'd be present to life if we could do that. And you can do that. It's just going to take a little bit of acceptance of the way things are, letting go of control, accepting reality as it is. And you know what? You would have a lot more energy to show up to work and relationships and connections, and you'd have a lot more joy and happiness and peace in your life. And all those things that make life amazing would start to come back into your life. Who stole your joy? Who took your joy away from you? Well, you can get it back. And part of what it takes to get it back is letting go of the way things have to be in order for me to be happy. Why can't you be happy right now? Why can't you be happy right now? You could be, but you got to decide that I have to let go of the way things must be, and I have to accept life as it is. Always making it better, but give up those unrealistic standards. So you'd live with more passion, you would live with more joy, and let's face it, you'd be a lot easier to be around. People would find you a lot more easy to connect to in life. So perfection isn't about excellence, it's really about fear. A fear that you might be a failure or a fear that you're not living up to your full potential, or a fear of what other people might think about you if you don't get a perfect score, or fear of living with less or living on less than what you might be capable of. And so the next time you find yourself slipping back into that perfectionistic mindset, recognize the fear is there, and then maybe let go of that fear a little bit and recognize you're going to be okay. It's going to be okay. You're going to make it. And whatever, challenges in front of you, it's not going to be perfect, and your outcome isn't going to be perfect, but you're going to be okay and you're going to make it. So appreciate what you have. Let go of the rest. Instead of focusing on what's wrong, try to focus on what's right. Try to have a little more gratitude and peace and harmony in your life, and live with life rather than against it. So thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I hope something in this video was helpful to you. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Check out this video I'm recommending for you in this playlist that I think will be helpful. And as always, guys, be present to life. I'll see you next time.